Second thing, now I'd like you to think about what's stopping me from being there. And just one thing that's stopping me from being there. Can you think of something?
Me.
At least one thing?
I'm stopping myself.
Okay, you don't have to share it, but we're stopping ourselves from being there. Okay, so now what I want to take a second is I want to talk about a couple of things. I love this quote from Stephen R. Covey, the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. Is that a problem in real estate? It's a problem in life. I went over to my tenants last night to replace an oven element, lower oven element. I didn't have a flashlight, so I stuck my iPhone up high up in the oven, just in the rack there, using it for a light. And then I put in the new element, decided to test it out, cranked it up to 350, and cooked my phone. That's kind of cool, huh? And I forgot that I was there fixing an oven. You know, I was trying to save like 75 bucks for a service call. It's only a $200 iPhone, so I guess I'm okay. But sometimes stuff happens in real estate, doesn't it? You're working on something and other stuff happens, so we need to keep the main thing, even when it gets tough. Does anybody know who Marcus Luttrell is? Anybody recognize the name? One. Anybody read the book Lone Survivor? No readers. Two. Okay. Anybody watch the movie? I didn't see the movie personally. The language just a little bit too much for me. Okay, so let me talk about Marcus though, really quick. So Marcus led a SEAL team into Afghanistan. And as he got there, all kinds of things went wrong. They ran into 3 goat herders, 2 men and a 14-year-old boy, and decided what to do. They got 100 goats or something, and these 3 guys, they got them detained. And it's like, what do? We could kill them, but we're not murderers. They talked about zip tying them. They said then the goats would go back to town. And if the goats got to town without people to come looking for them, he said we could zip tie the goats, but goats are just very resilient. He said they'd escape. And they'd go walking into town with zip ties that say made in the USA, which wouldn't be good. And so they finally decided to let these guys go. And they got set up, they got to a strategic point, and they just got invaded by a big Taliban army. And a 3-hour firefight, and Marcus watched his whole team. He was the team leader. He watched everybody get killed. He saw each one of them get killed. And he was beat up, his face was smashed in, he had broken his back, he had no feeling, no movement below his waist at that time. He was laying there under a rock, and he just thought, I'm just going to die. And then his training kicked in. He said, I got to do something. So he took a rock, he reached out as far as he could, and he drew a line in the sand. He said, I'm going to crawl till my feet are past that line. And if I'm still alive, I'm going to do it again. And he did that for about 7 miles, just dragging from one line to the next. And eventually he was found by some people in a village. They protected him for a while. He got rescued. Whole another story. There's a lot of us stuff there. But when stuff falls apart, when it's really bad in real estate, and it never gets as bad as everybody getting killed around us, right? Okay, real estate doesn't. I haven't had anybody get killed in a real estate transaction. Have had a few clients that died, but we can take care of that. But I do. I mean, we got wills, and we got joint tenancy, and we got trust. We got ways to take care of that. But when everything starts falling apart, we got to keep the main thing the main thing. And all we really need to do is reach out and draw that line and get past that. Just one thing. Focus on the main thing. Don't let everything else get in your way. Keep the main thing the main thing. And then my last quote here, and I gave you 3, because I give you 3 every time because we remember in 3s. And if you can't remember in 3s, at least you'll remember one of them. But it is, when you change the way you look at things, the way you look at, or the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And your perspective starts to change. So really, I just want today, go back to the beginning. Okay, what would you like to be like in real estate? What's standing in your way? Now come up with a plan. And the plan should be, once I have a plan, my job is to keep the main thing the main thing. If I need to do more prospecting, how am I going to do it? If I need to follow up better, how am I going to do it? If I need to improve on my social media, how am I going to do it? And then when everything invades my time, draw a line, get past the line, and draw the next line, one step at a time. And as you do that, you'll be amazed at what happens in your real estate. I'm happy to be here. You guys are great, and you're doing really awesome. And we'll turn it back over to Eric.